Russia's President Vladimir Putin just delivered a fiery address to the nation, sending shockwaves across the globe. A grave warning to the West, a chilling demonstration of military power, and a message no one can ignore.
I want to inform the personnel of the armed forces of the Russian Federation, citizens of our country, our friends worldwide, and those who continue to harbor illusions about the possibility of strategically defeating Russia, about the events unfolding today in the zone of the special military operation, particularly following the use of Western-manufactured long-range weapons against our territory. Continuing their course toward escalating the conflict in Ukraine provoked by the West, the United States and its NATO allies have previously announced their authorization for the use of their long-range, high-precision weapons systems against the territory of the Russian Federation. Experts know well, and the Russian side has repeatedly emphasized, that the use of such weapons is impossible without the direct involvement of military specialists from the countries that produce them. On November 19th, 6 ATACMS tactical missiles produced by the United States, and on November 21st, during a combined missile attack with Storm Shadow systems from the UK and HIMARS from the US, strikes were carried out against military facilities on Russian territory in the Bryansk and Kursk regions. From this moment on, as we have repeatedly stated, the regional conflict in Ukraine, provoked by the West, has acquired elements of a global nature. Our air defense systems countered these attacks, and as a result, the goals set by the enemy were not achieved. The fire caused by debris from ATACMS missiles at a munitions depot in the Bryansk region was extinguished, with no casualties or significant damage. In the Kursk region, the attack targeted one of the command posts of our Sever grouping. Unfortunately, the attack and the ensuing air defense engagement resulted in casualties among the external security personnel and service staff. However, the command and operational staff of the command post were unharmed and continue to direct our troops' operations in expelling enemy units from the Kursk region. I want to emphasize again that the enemy's use of such weapons cannot influence the course of military actions in the Special Military Operations Zone. Our forces are successfully advancing along the entire line of contact. All the objectives we set for ourselves will be achieved. In response to the use of American and British long-range weapons on November 21st, the Russian armed forces carried out a combined strike on a Ukrainian defense industrial facility. During the operation, we tested one of Russia's newest medium-range missile systems under combat conditions, using a ballistic missile equipped with non-nuclear hypersonic technology. Our missile specialists have named it Oreshnik, Hazel. The tests were successful, and the target was hit. In the city of Dnipro, Ukraine, we destroyed one of the largest industrial complexes, known since the Soviet era, which continues to produce missile technology and other weapons. The development of medium and short-range missiles is a response to U.S. plans to manufacture and deploy such missiles in Europe and the Asia-Pacific region. We believe the U.S. made a mistake by unilaterally withdrawing in 2019 from the INF Treaty, Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty, under a fabricated pretext. Today, the U.S. not only produces such weapons, but, as we see, also trains its forces for their deployment to various regions, including Europe, and conducts exercises for their use. Let me remind you that Russia voluntarily and unilaterally committed not to deploy medium and short-range missiles until similar American weapons appear in any region of the world. The testing of the Oreshnik missile system under combat conditions is a direct response to NATO countries' aggressive actions against Russia. The decision to further deploy medium and short-range missiles will depend on the actions of the United States and its satellites. Targets for future strikes during tests of our new missile systems will be determined based on threats to Russia's security. We reserve the right to use our weapons against military facilities in countries that permit their weapons to be used against our facilities. In the event of escalating aggression, we will respond decisively and in kind. I recommend that the ruling elites of countries contemplating the use of their military contingents against Russia seriously consider this. In cases where strikes on Ukrainian territory using systems like Oreshnik are deemed necessary, we will proactively warn civilians and citizens of friendly countries in these areas to evacuate. We will do this publicly and openly out of humanitarian considerations, without fear of interference from the enemy, who will also receive this information. Because there are currently no means to counteract such weapons. These missiles strike at speeds of Mach 10, 2.5 to 3 kilometers per second. Modern air defense systems worldwide, including those developed by the U.S. for deployment in Europe, cannot intercept such missiles. It is simply impossible. Let me reiterate, it was not Russia but the United States that destroyed the international security system. By clinging to its hegemony, the U.S. is driving the entire world toward a global conflict. We have always preferred and are still ready to resolve disputes through peaceful means. However, we are also prepared for any developments. If anyone still doubts this, they are mistaken. There will always be a response.
In a televised speech, Putin revealed that Russia has successfully tested a new intermediate-range missile, which was used in Thursday's strike on Ukraine. But here's the kicker. This wasn't just about Ukraine. This was a warning to countries aiding Kyiv in attacks on Russian soil. Let's rewind a bit. Earlier this week, Ukrainian forces reportedly used U.S. and British-supplied missiles to strike Russian territory. According to Putin, these actions crossed a red line, prompting Russia to respond with a powerful show of force. Russia's retaliation wasn't just about sending a message to Ukraine, it was about sending a loud and clear signal to the West. And Putin didn't mince words. If you allow Kyiv to strike us, we won't hesitate to strike you. But here's where it gets even more alarming. Putin claimed that Moscow's new missiles could target any country aiding Ukraine. He also added an ominous twist. Russia would give advance warning before any such strikes to allow civilians to evacuate. And as if that wasn't enough, Putin dismissed the effectiveness of U.S. air defense systems. According to him, they wouldn't stand a chance against Russian missiles. Now, whether that's true or just posturing is a whole other debate, but it's clear he's trying to shake Western confidence. So what does this all mean? Is this just Putin flexing his military muscle, or is this a precursor to something much bigger? Many experts believe this speech is a calculated move. It's not just about Ukraine anymore. It's about reshaping global power dynamics. The stakes couldn't be higher. Putin's warning isn't just a threat. It's a challenge. A challenge to the West to decide how far it's willing to go in supporting Ukraine, knowing the risks involved. But here's the question. Can the West afford to back down without losing face? Or are we inching closer to an even greater escalation? As always, the truth lies somewhere in the midst of power plays, propaganda, and posturing. One thing is certain: the world is watching, and the next moves will shape the future of geopolitics. What do you think? Are we on the brink of a larger conflict, or is this just a high-stakes game of bluffing? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into global events. This is Adaka Africa, bringing you clarity in a complex world. See you next time.